After studying hundreds of businesses in the trade and construction industry over the last 10 years, we've identified 7 key aspects of industry leaders that once you master these, you can master scaling and growing a consistently profitable business. Industry leaders aren't born. They actually focus on 7 key pillars over a consistent period of time to be able to break through a glass ceiling that holds a lot of business owners back, where they consistently struggle, working 60 to 80-hour weeks, not having any time for themselves or their family, and consistently stressed. So in this video, I'm going to run through what those 7 key pillars are. And again, once you master them, everything changes. The first one is industry leaders understand that external results out there are a reflection of their own internal growth and internal reality. So what they understand, it's an inside-out job. And when they go to work on themselves, their own personal growth, their own personal relationship with the external, things shift and change. And one of the lines I really love is, when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at change. And that allows you to see that external results are always a reflection of the way that you see the world, and they go to work on themselves first, and then the business tends to flow from that. The second one is, how are they spending their time with their thinking? Is it just day to day, week to week, let's just survive, get to the weekend? And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Or do they consistently think about how the decisions they make today are going to impact the future 2 to 3 years down the track? So a strategic industry leader thinks about the decisions that are going to impact the future on a day-to-day basis as well. So where's your focus? Is it just day-to-day, or is it potentially bigger picture down the track? The third one is financial confidence and how well organised the industry leaders are in managing their money. You see, money in the bank, bills are paid, can work, yet doesn't really create a sustainable, profitable organisation. Where an industry leader knows that their financials are like a foreign language. They understand that cash flow is important, but what does a cash flow forecast tell you? They understand that a profit and loss needs to be set up and organised effectively to give them the best indication of what's actually happening on the ground. And then something like a balance sheet is important to know, because really that's where the value of your organisation lies. So there really is a gap between money in the bank, bills are paid, right through to understanding truly the financial language of your business. The next one is value perception. How industry leaders value what they deliver is consistently different to, say, the technician sole operator. Down this end of the spectrum, they'll charge for materials and a bit of labour. So a bit of do and charge with a little margin on top. Happy days. Industry leaders go, that's one way. I'd much rather charge for an outcome, a solution I'm providing, a problem I'm solving, and what am I actually taking the hassles away from the customer? What am I really doing to reduce their energy and their focus on the problem at hand? And then price accordingly around that. The difference can be margins and miles apart. The next one is, how are they making decisions? So industry leaders make decisions completely different to the technician or the sole operator. So the technician or the sole operator often goes on gut feel. It's often fear-based. It's often very reactive, on the spot. And can that work? Yeah. We can wing it and it can work. But what happens is then that justifies how to make decisions moving forward. Where the industry leader goes, let's have a look at some frameworks. Let's have a look at, if I'm going to hire a particular individual, what are the things that I need to make decisions around today? If I'm going to look at my pricing strategy, what's the framework that I need to work through to ensure that I am charging enough consistently? And how often am I doing that? If I'm going to buy an asset like a vehicle or a piece of equipment, how quickly do I need to get a return on that versus let's just get another vehicle and get a van on the road? So those are the differences between that industry leader and the hands-on technician. Nothing wrong or right, But what we see is the industry leaders are really up for making decisions based on those frameworks. The next one's around delegating. The technician, the hands-on, thinks they're the best person to do the job, and that their business revolves around how well they deliver the outcome for the customer or the client. Where the industry leader goes, how do I create a business where my team can make the best decisions possible? They can show up and do their best work on a consistent basis. And they become really comfortable with delegating, with letting go, with guiding, for coaching and mentoring their team to do the work for the organisation. Last but not least, we're looking at leadership. You know, the industry leader has a real future-orientated, approach to leadership. They think about, how do I leave a legacy? How do I leave this industry better than when I started? So they create an organisation where they develop up other leaders underneath them or to work with them to assist them in raising the standards, raising the benchmark, raising the quality of the industry. Where the technician, the hands-on sole operator, again, nothing wrong with this, just thinks of themselves, just got to get through the day, and if I'm happy with that, money's in the bank, I'm going to enjoy weekend and time with my friends or my family. Again, spectrum involved, no wrong or right, good or bad, but where would you like to see yourself? Where do you see yourself moving towards? If you're curious and you'd like to know where you sit on the spectrum between the hands-on technician and the strategic industry leader, we've got a great little tool. It's our Industry Leader Readiness Assessment. Go to the link below, answer the questions we've made available for you, and instantly you'll get an understanding of where you sit on all of those pillars that we like to call them, and what are the next steps you can take from there.